from the doctors in terms of proposing this task force, but Yashovardhan Azad, to the case itself. Today, the court made it very clear we will not go by what social media says. There are lots of allegations that have been put out in the social media realm. We've got, as Munish Pandey reports, the CBI suggesting it's not a case of gang rape, it's a case of rape. They're now looking at why the FIR was delayed, why the unnatural death report. There are contrary versions as to when exactly it was done. Kapil Sibal said at 10 in the morning. There was another report that said it happened later in the evening. These specifics, how important are they? Is the case now about first identifying the rapist, Sanjoy Roy, allegedly, or is it about going through the timeline of alleged lapses by the hospital authorities in particular and possibly by the local police?
Well, Rajdeep, there are two distinct parts to this issue, as you're trying to point out. First is the investigation per se, and I would say that the most important thing is to carry on the investigation. I'm glad that many of the rumors which are being spread on the social media have not been attended to or listened to. There were lots of them. And now CBI is taking over the investigation. The accused has already been caught, and it was caught by the Calcutta police within 2 days. And now the CBI is going further by taking the polygraph test. That's all well done. The second thing which I have not understood is how the crime scene was altered or who altered it. But the other part, as far as the lapses go, I think the most important part, I'll just clarify in a minute, is that when you have a body, for example, there's a body lying on the road and you're not able to, find out as to what exactly happened to this body. You register a case of a natural death. It's called a Marg Panchnama is done. And then thereafter you do the investigation and then check out what has happened. In this particular case, Rajdeep, it was fairly evident for any police officer who would have gone there that this is a case of a cognizable crime. And therefore, the Supreme Court has said that the FIR is delayed. For example, if you see a bullet injury guy lying dead on the road, you don't, register an unnatural death. You register a case of murder immediately. And that is why this point will hurt Calcutta police. I think the police commissioner should be held responsible for this. As far as the lapses go, it was sacrilege on the part of the principal of the college to make it look like suicide, and therefore his actions have been a kind of suspect. Mind you, Rajdeep, this is a
so what can they be charged with? Can they be charged with cover up? What the hospital ex-principal in particular? The Kolkata police today gave a timeline minute by minute of what happened on the 9th. So they seem to have given their details. But the role of hospital of Dr. Ghosh in allegedly telling through possibly some junior that it was a suicide, reports, as the CBI suggested, that when they came 5 days later, the scene had been altered. Who takes responsibility? Where does the buck stop?
There are 2 or 3 things on which he'll be questioned very seriously. As to when did he get the information about the crime, and when did the report go to the police? That's extremely important if you're delaying the time for lodging an FIR. Number 2 is whether he had any role in altering the crime scene. And third, whether there was any role of his in trying to, shift evidence or trying to influence people. So some kind of, interfering with the evidence on ground. And that is why they're going through a polygraph test on him. But I think that there's another person also who should be caught in this, and that should be the in charge of security. It always some administrator or a professor. His role should also be tapped because his was the most important role in informing the police and getting the FIR lodged. So these are important things which the Calcutta police would look into, and the conflicting statements of the 4 interns who are also going to be examined under the polygraph test to find out. So the 2 parts, one is the investigation which will be going ahead, and second, the lapses, whether they are to be taken as a kind of culpability in the crime itself.